Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Yesterday we got a surprise weapon tuning update that ended up touching on a lot of the main meta weapons, buffing some, nerfing others, a lot of very interesting changes. So today I wanted to go back through, wasn't expecting to do this soon again already after the season 4 reloaded update, but review which weapons are now going to be your top tier choices, your meta choices with these new changes taken into account. So as we break everything down today, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you are new to the channel or if you haven't subscribed yet, every day I got you covered with everything going on in COD, news, updates, loadouts, tips. It is all right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button as we are on the road to 1 million. And also quick reminder that right now, all weekend long, my Gamer Advantage discount code WhosImmortal is boosted to get you 20% off your entire order. Now is the best time to pick up a pair of frames if you have not already. The biggest possible discount is live all the way through the 7th, and the link for that will be down in the description below. So I've got my handy dandy list of notes of everything that ended up changing in this new weapon tuning update. Also going to make some additional adjustments to where some weapons fall on this list. Like I said, I was not expecting to revisit this already, but lo and behold, here we are. They waited a week to include even more crazy weapon changes, but the Vargo S initially got a velocity buff. It's still just a competitive sniper support option. It's not really super viable for long range. It really does fit in there alongside the Volk, the Nikita, the AS-44 as some of those sniper support and mid-range guns, but I'd take every single one of those other ones over the Vargo S in particular, right? So that's not really one I think changes all that much, but it will feel a little bit better than it did before. Now the NZ got yet another nerf. This is like nerf 4, nerf 5, nerf 6. I lost track at this point, but they nerfed its headshot multiplier and then also added more recoil to it. And I'm not gonna lie, it still is a laser beam. It's still way too easy to use. It's not gonna hit as hard as it was pre-season 4 reloaded, that's for sure. It is more balanced and it's not ridiculously broken, but whether you're on console or PC, this thing is still super easy to use. It is easier than the vast majority of the Cold War and MW guns, and it's right there with some of the easiest Vanguard guns as well. Still, this thing's gonna have to see either a severe damage drop off like they did with the Kilo a while back, or just a ton of recoil if you like to really truly balance it. That one also doesn't change. Now the KG M40 also saw a nerf to its headshot multiplier, but a buff to its neck multiplier, which really balances out. This thing I think is the #1 like best weapon in the game right now. This is not in any particular order, by the way, in every category, but if I were to choose a weapon to use right now, it would be the KG M40. It is low recoil, very solid damage, not broken like the NZ was before either, but it is very strong and super easy for all types of players. So very reliable option there. And this change, because it was one buff, one nerf, kind of offset one another, if you know what I'm saying. Now the Volk got several interesting changes here. They nerfed its long range a little bit. They gave the strafe barrel some more penalties for control and whatnot, so that's a little bit nerfed. And then they also ended up nerfing the range a tad bit as well. But honestly, for what it is, if the Cooper is in here with top tier meta for it being a top tier sniper weapon, the Volk also has to be. The thing is just nasty. So even though it was nerfed here, that's a an upgrade that I should have given it probably with season 4 reloaded in hindsight. So it's a top tier weapon for sure. We'll be talking more about it here probably sometime next week, but despite the nerfs, still super good. And here's a bit of a sad one. The Kilo got a long range nerf, and I'm not gonna lie, kind of honeymoon phase when we saw the patch notes. This is really not top meta. It's good. It's a solid rifle for sure, and it's obviously very low recoil, very easy to use, and feels great because it's an MW gun, but versus a KG, versus a Bar, versus a Cooper, a Vargo, it's not gonna be the choice. You know what I'm saying? No one's dropping in with a Kilo to win $100,000 in a tournament. They're dropping in with a KG, so I just can't have it in top meta. Also, while we're at it, the M13, it didn't get adjusted in this update, but kind of the same deal. Honeymoon phase, we all saw it get buffed. We're like, okay, it's all back. It really wasn't. It's solid, but it's nowhere near being a meta weapon, right? Another one that I absolutely should not have changed, but looking at the patch note, it seemed like it could be worse than it was. The Armagera got nerfed with the season 4 reloaded update. They nerfed it a bit here. The strafe speed was reduced a little bit. Some of the magazines, but not the 9mm60, which is like the main mag you want to use, were nerfed with some of their properties. Also, the short barrel got a speed nerf as well, but really we're going for the damage barrel in a lot of cases. So this absolutely, in my opinion, is the best SMG. Again, it got nerfed in this update just like the Volk, but really it is a star at the moment because, spoiler alert, coming up next we got Marco and Blixen changes, and to me the Armagera is just the most consistent now between its mobility, its damage, its TTK, its control all around. it's just super, super solid. So that'd be my number one choice for subs, and it definitely is a top meta weapon. Marco, hello. Already a top meta weapon. It got a slight nerf to the ADS and control, but it's still a top tier choice. I'd say this is probably the number 2 SMG right behind the Armaguerra here. So that to me absolutely staying. Of course, no major differences there. The Blixen got a close range damage nerf, and its range for close range was also nerfed. And some of the ADS properties for different attachments were also nerfed on like the main meta build essentially. Movement and velocity was adjusted on the F3 barrel, and then also the 54 round mag that saw some nerfs too. So basically the entire meta setup for the Blixen was adjusted. However, it's still very straightforward, and because of some of the movement nerfs, you could just adjust to like the you know, skeletal underbarrel, get some better movement there. You can adjust your setup and build it back to close to where it was before, with the exception of the velocity decrease. It's still probably the number 3 or 4 SMG at the moment, so also staying in top meta. We got some nerfs to the Desert Eagle. They basically made it so that the TTK is not going to be as spicy as it was before. Same deal as with the you know, other MW guns, Kilo and M13. It was cool for a day, and then you get to that sort of realization it's probably a little overhyped for what it is, right? It's still fun to use. It can 3-shot, but you have to hit headshots. A little bit too unforgiving for my liking. Now, the Whitley also saw buffs to its meta build with the 45 round mag in the meta barrel, but the magazine capacity is still a little bit lacking, and the recoil is still a little bit awkward as well. It's definitely a competitive LMG, but you know, the UGM is borderline top meta LMG. The Bren is still very good. The Type 11 is still very good. The DP is still very good. So it's going to stay in competitive because I wouldn't necessarily take it over any of those. I don't think it's top meta, but it's certainly competitive and very strong if you know how to use it correctly. And then lastly, the VOK Rogue ended up getting a nerf as well, which we have here. It can still 2-shot within like 8 meters or so. So it's still a close range meta option for sure, but you have to land all your pellets for it to 2-shot. So you're going to be super accurate or you're going to pay the price, right? So I'm going to keep it inviolable for that reason. It is great for close range, but outside of 8 meters, it's useless. So super niche in that sense. And for that reason, it can't be really competitive or meta in my own opinion. Now that said, I do want to further adjust our top meta area here because I feel like I'm a bit too lenient, if I'm being honest with you. So the Krig, yes, it got buffed, and yes, it is low recoil and very competitive, but am I taking it over a KG, an NZ, a bar? Probably not. So I think we got to drop this one down into competitive. Same deal with the QBZ. It really hasn't been touched much, and its TTK is very competitive, but even for the Cold War rifles, I would not take it over a Vargo or an XM4 or a Farah, competitively speaking. So those 3 I do believe are top meta weapons, especially for Cold War. Not so much though in the grand scheme of things. Also, the bar, even after the update, like the recoil is not terrible, but it just doesn't feel like it is a true meta weapon when you use something like the KG or the NZ for range, even like a Cooper long range build, you know, it just doesn't feel like it's on the same level necessarily. So I think the bar has to get dropped down a little bit too into that competitive area. Borderline meta for sure, but not something that's going to be a top tier choice that a lot of the pros are going to flock to. Really, that's the KG right now. Like I said, the NZ nerf didn't really change all that much, but we have a very interesting meta here because you kind of got a mix of everything. Obviously, it's very Vanguard dominant still, which is sort of a snooze fest, but for long range, it's really limited to the KG right now. But then for some mid-range and some long range mixed in, you have the NZ, you have the Cooper. Primarily for sniper support and exclusively mid-range, you got the Volk, the AS44, and the Nikita, which are all frying. Farah, Vargo, XM4 are obviously all some long range too, but a little bit more difficult to use in the KG in some cases. And then the SMG meta, I mean, you got your top 5 here, I'd say. You can make some arguments for some of these other ones as well, like the Owen gun, the MP40, the Sten, they're up there too, but Type 100, Armaguerra, Blixen, PPSH, and Marco are all phenomenal choices. So you have a defined top meta, but you also have a ton of options in competitive here, especially after this last update, that are certainly viable as well. You could use a lot of these and do well with them. The Etra is sort of increasing in popularity. The Automaton's not bad. The M16 we're going to talk about soon. So there certainly are a lot of options right now, even though our top meta is almost exclusively Vanguard. The meta is trending towards a better spot, you could say. But that being said, that is going to wrap things up for this one. Those are the new best weapons to be running in Warzone after this last update. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. And I will catch you guys later. Peace out.